Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, families, faculty, chairman, board of trustees, chancellor, deans, distinguished guests, and fellow graduates of mine. It's an honor to be this year's commencement speaker. We are all gathered here today to celebrate the completion of our advanced degrees. But we are also gathered here today to celebrate the experiences that we had along the way, which shaped us into who we are today. To start, I want to share a quote with you from one of my favorite authors, Brandon Sanderson. "To love the journey is to accept no such end. I have found through experience that the most important step that a person can take is always the next one. Journey before destination." We have all gone on our own unique journeys to get to this destination, finishing our degrees. We all made it through each challenge we faced. We kept taking one step forward, no matter how small that step seemed at the time. Each of us have had our own individual experiences during our academic journey here at this college. And these experiences have shaped us and made us who we are, prepared individuals who are ready to move on to the next steps in our lives, whether that be seeking out a job or continuing on in our education to, for example, to be medical or dental professionals. Today, I want to share with you some of my experiences from my journey here at New York Medical College. I have had the opportunity to get to know many of the faculty at this school and be a part of almost every department. I have been at New York Medical College since August 2015, when I entered in the master's program. And the first department I had the pleasure of being a part of was the microbiology and immunology department. The culture of this department and the community they create is a little snapshot of what this school offers. I remember sitting as a new student in Dr. Raj Tiwari's office when I was first accepted and planning the courses that I would take and feeling like I was so welcome, and even though I didn't know him that well yet. Or talking with Dr. John Galipter and getting inspired by his research while sitting in his office among all the souvenirs that he's collected on his trips. And microbiology too with Dr. Dana Mordew when I learned to write my first grant proposal. The next department I became a part of on campus was the pharmacology department. I was lucky enough to be hired by Dr. Austin Guo and as a research assistant during my first year at the school. The pharmacology department is a highly collaborative, and I was welcomed right into their family, invited to the holiday parties, and was allowed to shadow other students and fellows to learn different laboratory techniques. One thing that stood out to me working under Dr. Austin Guo was his ability to make his research into a story. He has a way of making each experiment fit in like pieces to a puzzle and create a manuscript and experimental plan that leads you step by step throughout it. I think the collaborative nature of this department fuels this kind of thinking. After securing my position in the Ph.D. program with a leap of faith, where I not only did not finish the master's degree that I entered into, deciding to jump right into the Ph.D. program, but also only applied to NYMC and no other school, I was welcomed into yet another department on campus. The biochemistry department adopted me with open arms after Dr. Joseph Wu hired me as the new teaching assistant for the graduate biochemistry course, a position I then held for 5 years. It has been such an honor working with the professors of this department. Dr. Zhongtao Zhang let me sit at a little desk outside his office in his lab and work through his enzymatic questions so that I could make sure I was explaining it correctly to students. Dr. Joseph Wu allowed me to find the freedom and find my own teaching style as the teaching assistant, and eventually allowed me to transition into actually lecturing in the course. These experiences have allowed me to become comfortable speaking in a front of room of a people like you today, and also allow me to communicate my own research in an effective and understandable way. Lastly, I made my home in 2 more departments on campus. The department where I completed my PhD degree by title, the cell biology department, and the physiology department where I completed my PhD research under the mentorship of Dr. Christopher Leonard. Under the guidance of Dr. Victor Fried, Dr. Joseph Ettlinger, and Dr. Kenneth Larea, I was able to further develop my knowledge of cell biology through their course as well as through my qualifying exam. Under the mentorship of Dr. Christopher Leonard and the trust that he gave me to independently lead my experiments, I successfully completed my PhD research and learned how to be a proficient scientist. My dissertation focused on the specific neurons in the brain called orexin neurons and how they are impacted by opioid addiction. Addiction to drugs of abuse is a growing problem in today's society, and current treatments often fail to adequately manage the negative withdrawal symptoms that drive relapse. Therefore, development of more effective therapies is a high priority. The orexin neuropeptide system is a key regulator of many physiological processes, including reward, and findings from my research provide evidence that the functionality of these neurons is altered following chronic opioid exposure, and that blocking the actions of orexin may have therapeutic value in disrupting drug-induced brain adaptations that drive addiction. New York Medical College has been my home for the past 8 years, and during this time, I have grown immensely as an individual. My journey has been made up of all the experiences that I have had in each department, some of which I touched on today. But I ask all you to look back at your time here in the Graduate School of Biomedical Science, whether it has been 1 or 2 years in the GSBMS Master's Program, or a longer period of time if you are one of my fellow PhD graduates today. And think of the professors or fellow students which have stood out to you and all the meaningful relationships that you have built. Think of where you were before you started this degree and see how far you've come in your ability to study, retain information, develop new experiments, critically analyze literature, and so much more. As we graduate today, we embark on the next chapter of our lives. Some of us will go on to obtain another degree. Some will work at universities and colleges, hospitals, and go into industry. The possibilities are endless. And yet, no matter where we end up, we all leave New York Medical College better prepared to contribute to discovering new science, better methods of patient care, science policy, communication, etc. I would like to thank my friends and family who have stuck with me for this tremendous journey, Dr. Christopher Leonard for his support and guidance in the completion of my PhD, and my fellow lab members, both past and present, as well as the staff of all of the departments that I have been a part of my journey. And with that, I would like to offer congratulations to my fellow graduates. We did it. The world is waiting for us to continue on our journeys, and I can't wait to see what is next for each of us.